Let me now turn to Senator Lujan, who will introduce our first witness, who is Secretary Elizabeth Groginsky of New Mexico.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to our ranking member for holding today's hearing, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here today. As a Head Start alumnus, I know the value of a high-quality early childhood education and believe that Congress should be strengthening its support for child care in this country, not taking steps backward. It might surprise you there's only 2 sitting U.S. senators that went to Head Start. I'm proud to be one of them. I'm incredibly grateful to welcome our Secretary, Elizabeth Groginsky, and who is our Cabinet Secretary for the Early Childhood Education Department from New Mexico. Now, just 4 years ago, a report came out from the Annie E. Casey Foundation, which is an annual report called Kids Count, measuring student well-being and success across the country. We're very thankful in our state that our governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, stepped forward, and she initiated something that was important for us back in New Mexico, and I think an example across the country, where we're now one of a few states, including Alabama, Connecticut, Georgia, Massachusetts, and Washington, to do this. And what our governor did was she created a new cabinet secretary position and a new state agency in 2019 to put programs of children 0 to 5 under one roof. Secretary Groginsky answered the call, and she is our first cabinet secretary for early childhood education in this capacity and helping families and helping children in New Mexico. Now, thanks to the flexibility baked into the federal child care assistance and the amount provided, New Mexico was able to make significant steps in improving and helping children, but improving the system that we have in our state. Secretary Groginsky is here to share her story of how transformational these one-time investments were, but also to emphasize that they are worth sustaining. It's critical for Congress to look at what worked with the pandemic, with this investment, helping kids, and how it made a difference in people's lives, and for the committee to come together to restart the bipartisan conversations as well. So I want to thank and welcome our Secretary, and I want to say thank you for being here to help share your story. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Groginsky, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Senator Lujan. Good morning, Chairman Sanders, Ranking Member Cassidy, and members of the committee. Thank you for inviting me to testify about New Mexico's success towards building a high-quality, equitable, and affordable early childhood system that supports families' needs by delivering early education and care for young children during their years of most critical and rapid development. As an aunt of 18 beautiful nieces and nephews, a great aunt of 19, and in my role as Cabinet Secretary, I know firsthand the struggles and joys of working families and child care providers. Today, I will discuss how New Mexico transformed child care to support families, improved children's short and long-term outcomes, and increased and strengthened the child care workforce that cares for and educates them. These actions, taken together, ultimately fuels the economy today and into the future. Our state has a unique historical context, diverse cultures and languages with families and traditions going back many hundreds of years. We are shaped by 23 sovereign tribes, pueblos, and nations, which comprise 11% of our population and a 49% Hispanic population, a great diversity which contributes to the depth and the beauty of our state. Despite these strengths, New Mexico has struggled for generations to realize its potential. The reasons for this are complex, many rooted in historical inequities. Under the leadership of our governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, New Mexico has pursued a bold, transformational vision. Like every other state, New Mexico's child care industry was on the brink of collapse during the early months of the pandemic. Providers' enrollment and revenues plummeted, exacerbating challenges in recruiting and retaining staff. Fortunately, the federal government recognized that child care is crucial to families and local economies and made historic investments in the industry. Amidst this crisis, New Mexico identified an opportunity with these federal funds to stabilize and remake the foundation of the state's child care industry. Critical to the success of this federal funding was its flexibility. Because of this flexibility, New Mexico could be nimble and creative with these funds and preserve the mixed delivery system that gives families the choices they want and need. With this support, the state established groundbreaking initiatives and policy changes. First, we stabilized the industry to ensure access to high-quality education. New Mexico's low point in child care capacity came in February 2021, when 15% of pre-pandemic capacity had been eliminated. We acted swiftly, distributing over $163 million in federally funded grants to more than 1,000 child care providers, allowing more programs to reopen reopen and stay open, providers reported that these stabilization grants saved their businesses and allowed them to emerge from the pandemic even stronger than before. Second, we improved the long-term viability of the workforce and supported parent choice through child care assistance rates that reflect the true cost of care. New Mexico became the first state in the nation, along with D.C., to use a federally approved alternative cost model to inform and determine subsidy rates. Most states use a traditional market rate study, which sets rates based on what providers are charging parents. This method is flawed because child care tuition remains artificially low due to families' inability to afford the full cost of quality care. Tuition stays low to keep families from being priced out, so provider revenues and wages remain low. New Mexico's cost model approach allows child care providers to increase their employees' compensation, have a healthier business bottom line, and we can serve more children. Third, New Mexico strengthened families by significantly expanding eligibility and waiving parent co-payments. The state increased our income eligibility to 400% of the federal poverty level and waived all family co-payments. This has been a game changer for working families who routinely spent a third of their income on child care. Relieved of this crippling financial burden, working families can now better afford rent, mortgage, food, transportation, health care, and other activities that improve their family's stability, security, and well-being. Fourth, the state expanded child care supply and access. Like most states, New Mexico has a long-standing shortage of child care supply. To address this, the state allocated over $11 million in ARPA Stabilization Administration funds to 37 grantees with a increasing capacity by 1,200. Finally, we advanced a diverse, well-compensated, and credentialed early childhood workforce. We used the relief funds to give a $1,500 recruitment bonus, $3 an hour raises. We've also invested in free college supports for advanced credentials. In closing, public investment and leadership makes a difference. The relief funds equipped our state to transform our child care industry. Today, New Mexico leads the nation in early childhood investment and innovation and is a roadmap for other states looking to make similar changes. However, continued federal investment is necessary to maintain the transformational gains in states. New Mexico is proof of the enormous impact that a significant federal investment can have on children, families, and their communities. An investment in quality child care is an investment in a more vibrant and secure future for our country. Learning from the extraordinary federal early childhood investments made during the pandemic, I urge the members of this committee, Congress, and the federal administration to maintain these investments and commit to a long-term state funding strategy that sustains the significant advancements we and others have made. Thank you for your time and this opportunity to share New Mexico's experience and vision for the future of our children.
Thank you very much, Secretary Groginsky. Our next witness